Ata që janë gjithmonë gati në shi, bor, diell. Çdo ditë ata zgjohen, përgatiten, spikasin për të arritur qëllimet e tyre, për ta bërë jetën më të mirë, për ata që i kanë në mendje çdo moment, për ata që janë atje në vendlindje. Ne, në Ria dhe EasyPay, e dim se sa e rëndësishme është familja. Kjo është arsyeja pse dërgesat me ne janë më të shpejta, të sigurta dhe të lira. Ria Money Transfer dhe EasyPay. Dërgojmë para aty ku vërtet ka rëndësi.
Shikues të televizionit Albykej, mirëmbrëma dhe mirë se vini në emisionin UniversAL. Siç e shikoni sonte, emisioni UniversAL do transmetohet nga ambientet të tjera që nuk janë studiot e televizionit Albykej, po jemi në një librari, siç e shikoni këtu, ku jemi me një koleksioniste të librave të herojit kombëtar, të herojit të kombit shqiptar, Gjergj Kastrioti, Skënderbeut, dhe jemi pikërisht me një koleksioniste angleze, e cila është koleksionistja më e madhe private, e cila është Patricia Nugee, me të cilën jemi sonte, dhe së bashku me Patricia Nugee, më falni, është dhe Aida Haziri, e cila ka një njohje të hershme me zonjën Nugee, dhe do të bisedojmë për koleksionin e këtyre librave që datojnë që më i hershmi në vitin 1510, por që shkojnë deri te viti 1800. Ne së bashku do bëjmë një bashkëbisedim për koleksionin e zonjës Nugee dhe se si kjo ka ardhur në kontakt me këta libra dhe se si ka arritur që të bëjë të koleksion deri më tani. Dhe këtë intervistë do ta dëgjojmë në vijim të emisionit. Ms. Nugee, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting us in your home, in your library.
My book room.
Your book room. It is a library to me, you know, it's got so many books and it's got a very large collection about the Albanian national hero,
Yes.
Skënderbeun.
And also books about Albania by Joe Swire, Edith Durham, you know, etc.
Great. And also, Aida, welcome to the program. Thank you actually for organizing this.
Yes.
As you know, Patricia, very well for a long time. Maybe you both can tell me how you got to know each other and the friendship
Albanian,
that
yes.
you had from the beginning.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And I really wanted to do this because I do value Patricia a lot about what she's doing with our hero Skënderbeun, the books about him. So, and I think she has a lot of things, beautiful things to say about the books and about our country, Albania.
Yes.
Yeah, Patricia, if you could go through how did you get to know Aida and how long ago did you know each other?
Through the association.
Through the Anglo-Albanian
Yes.
Association, I understand.
Aida's a board member, so
She's a board member,
so
that's correct.
We just clicked.
Right. Just for the viewers, I'm going to say this in Albanian.
Yes, of course.
Aida Haziri është një profesoreshe e gjuhës shqipe në Ministrinë e Jashtme britanike, por gjithashtu është dhe antare e bordit Anglo-Albanian Associations, dhe kështu ka ardhur në kontakt edhe me Patricia Nugee, e cila, siç u thash më parë, është një koleksioniste e librave të Skënderbeut që datojnë që herët në vitin 1510.
And Aida first came with colleagues. How many colleagues came? Was it 8? 8 colleagues you came?
Actually, first time I came in your house was when Stephen arranged a visit, a meeting here with Alistair.
Oh, yes.
Alistair was my student and now he's the British ambassador in Albania.
Stephen is
Stephen
King
is
Smith.
the chair of Albania
Albanian
Albania
Association.
Stephen Nash.
Stephen Nash, that's
So,
right, just for our viewers.
Yes.
After the meeting was in Patricia's garden, which is a beautiful garden, and Patricia invited us here to. We were a lot of people, but we still fitted in this beautiful room, book room, and this was the first time when I saw the books, and I was amazed. The smell of the books, the beauty of the story of everything. So this was the first time, and then I brought some friends here because we have a book club. We are some teachers, we have a book club, so it was my turn to arrange something with them. So I said, yes, this is an opportunity to bring them and see these beautiful books. So this was the second time.
It's lovely. Yes.
Just a quick thing on the Anglo-Albanian associations. When was it founded? But this question could go for either of you. When was it founded, and what's its purpose here in Great Britain?
I think Patricia can tell more about this.
Well, it was founded, I don't know, 1900 or a long time ago. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Edith Durham, Aubrey Herbert, and so many wonderful people. Isan Totani and SOE, Special Operations Executive, you know, in the war, the Albanians went over, and I got very interesting book there. Anyway,
Great.
I have to do another.
Perfect. Well, we're going to actually move straight
Yes,
into
we
your
must.
collection.
The books.
I mean,
Yes,
you're
please.
now a very well-known collector of these books regarding the Albanian national hero, George Skënderbeun. What prompted you to start this collection, Patricia,
Well, I had
of these books about the Albanian national hero?
I had a dream job in the antiquarian bookshop where I used to work 15 years, and a customer came in. My boss ran the department of continental books, and this customer mentioned Skënderbeun. Now, after he left the shop, I went up, I looked up Skënderbeun in Encyclopedia Britannica, and I thought, oh, very important historical figure. And then this book, the first one I bought, 1596, for my collection, came up, and I bought it very slowly. I want everybody to see this beautiful book. It's a perfect marriage of binding and text. Blind stamped Oxford binding, and owned by Henrietta Vanbrugh previously, and it has a sonnet to Skënderbeun by Edmund Spenser, one of our great poets. Not a lot of people know that. It's wonderful.
So up to that time, did you know anything about Skënderbeun or
No.
Albania at all?
Albania, yes, but not Skënderbeun.
Not Skënderbeun.
No.
So you, in a way, you were a bit surprised of
Well, not surprised, just very
this
interested.
figure.
1596. Do you want to take a photograph of that?
Absolutely, yeah. But since you didn't know, so you were asked about this book, which you didn't know, but then you showed an interest. Who is this figure?
The
Who
thing
this
is,
Skënderbeun?
in the shop, we used to do catalogues,
Yeah.
and this came up 17th century English books in Brown Maggs's catalogue, and I bought this. And it's beautiful. It's not illustrated, but it's full of interest.
So that's when you actually started
Yes.
showing an interest
Yes,
on the Albanian history as well
Yes.
as obviously
Definitely.
this Skënderbeun.
Yes.
Go on. Okay. Great. And how many books have you actually
before
got on your
1800.
collection?
Before
So they
1800.
start before 1800. Am I right to say is 1510 the
earliest,
the
yes.
earliest
I will
one?
show it to you, yes,
Right.
if I can find it, of course. 37 books I have before 1800. Very, very famous. Full page of Skënderbeun. Look at that. Gorgeous. And because you can't show the title page, I had this photographed.
Right.
So that's the title page of this book, but that's the most important thing.
Is this one of your first books that you collected?
That is the first book that I've shown you.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the first book, and
Yes.
then this comes
Well,
after.
Yes, afterwards.
Right.
Slowly, slowly, piano, I collected.
Piano.
Yes.
Okay, so the school. I mean, obviously, it hasn't been easy to collect all these. They've got a financial cost as well. So,
Well-
how did you manage to collect them?
very
How
slowly.
difficult was it?
Very slowly. And then one or two people in the book trade and our customers got to know of my interests, which, you know, it was a bit esoteric, if you know this word. And then Guy Evans was he was travelling in Spain, and he rang me. He said, "I've seen a book for you." And I said, "Very good. In good condition?" He said, "Yes. That's printed in Madrid." But look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Look at
Absolutely.
that. Full page. Yes. So,
You mentioned different countries that you collected them from. What languages are these books written in, mainly? The ones that you've got collected?
many.
Many different languages,
Many.
yeah?
Shall I read them out?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, places where they've been exhibited. In Latin, French, German, Italian, English, Spanish, Swedish. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, great.
This is the Spanish. I want to show it to you because it's got the original ties. Can you see? Published in Madrid. Here we are. I don't quite know the significance. Somebody said,
the hand there.
this is the hand of Fatima. I said, what's the significance of the eyes? But, you know, this means work.
Is it
in
eyes
Latin.
about the fingers there? Is it?
Yes, it is. It's very strange. I don't know
And they
what...
haven't explained the significance of it?
No.
Right.
Here you are, you see. Captain George Castriot, King of Epirus and Albania.
Have you read any of the books? I'm talking about those ones that are in English or any other language that you might
Well,
understand.
I should have done, because I speak French and Italian.
also.
I've read in
French and
English.
Italian. Great. Oh, perfect.
I did speak Spanish, but I've, you know, lost it. If you don't use your languages, you lose it.
Obviously, it needs practice.
Anyway, I wanted to show you that.
Cool, cool.
What was that word? Don't say it, because Mr. Grogan said it too much.
We're not going to mention that word. Don't
No,
worry.
we won't. Now this is Pontanus, and this is my only depiction of Skënderbeun with the goat helmet,
Right.
which I think Vienna should have returned to Albania. There he is. It's good, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know that.
Funny.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. We have talked about it a lot because there are a lot of stories about Skënderbeun's head, about the horns.
Yes.
There are a lot of stories. So we've talked with Tish, but the special about these books are the binding, the way how books are binded. So how long they have lived, because how people did them, made them. This is why they live too long, and this is what we have talked about. The very perfection of binding the books.
This is Augsburg, 1533. Look, there he is.
1533.
33. Good. What I want to do, because the illustrations here are so magnificent, I would like somebody to come who knows about books, not bending the spine down, and take, so we have a book of all the illustrations. I mean, they're so beautiful. So, and there's a lot of them. I put these little bits of paper in so we could see them easily. Look how lovely.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous. All about Skënderbeun, you see. Black letter, German. Amurat, yes.
Is this in German?
Yes, Augsburg.
Augsburg.
You see, it's so wonderful. Well, I mean, these are, you know, dead horses. Somewhere there's a camel. How did they know about camels, Aida?
Yeah, every picture tells a story, Patricia.
Yes.
Every picture.
You see,
And they've
look.
got lots of details.
Here's Skënderbeun on his horse. Anyway, we could go through and spend hours here, but I just wanted to show you that. It's very good condition, you see.
How many books are in total, Patricia?
37.
37 books in
Yes,
total.
before 1800, except one, this very strange book here, which I will show you in a minute. Oh, thanks, Ida, it's lovely.
So that one is what? When does it date?
Would you like this one?
Yes, that's the Plutarch. But we can't take it on exhibition. It weighs a ton. Absolute ton. But, you know, that the fact that he was in Plutarch is pretty good, isn't it? Not every... There you are, and I think this is the... That's the title page there, which has been nicely done. And then here's Skënderbeun, older. He's an older man there.
It's an older man there.
Yes. Princit Epirot, you see.
He died quite young, considering
1468.
So, yeah. So it's 37 books that you've collected on over how many years?
Secret.
Secret. But when did you first start it?
I was afraid you'd ask that. I mean, it's so long ago. I should think probably 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yes.
So I just wanted to know that you've had a lot of people here to see the books. So, and can you tell us which book was more popular? Like people loved it, and people asked questions about the book.
Well,
so is there any book that you felt like, oh, people are so interested about this book?
I think they're interested in all of them. I don't remember a particular one, you know. But President Rugova sat where I'm sitting now, and he...
Ibrahim Rugova?
Yes, such a good man.
So he was in this room as well?
Yes, he was.
And
three of his minders were standing there, just by those books.
Did you need the minders inside your library?
And they were very bored.
They were very bored.
Yes.
They probably didn't understand everything.
So what was his reaction about the books?
Well, he was amazed. He was amazed.
He was a clever man.
Very clever man.
He was a clever man, so he must have been amazed.
And he said to me, are you on email? Well, I said, not really. He said, well, I will write to you by horses. So nice.
Oh, that's
so
very
nice.
So I'm going to ask you about the Plutarch, the big book you've got here, the biggest one.
Yes.
You know, in this book there is not just the Skënderbeun, it's a lot of people
top men
with a big reputation.
Yes.
You know this. So why do you think he chose? Do you have any thing to say? Why did he choose to write about Skënderbeun?
He was important, you know. Skënderbeun. I mean, he was fighting the Ottomans.
Yes, because I've seen the book, and he's got a lot of leaders, other leaders in this book, and it's such an honor for Albanian nationality to have his hero in this book. Actually,
here he is compared to Serini, Hungarian. You see, the most prudent and resolved, with his parallels, Skënderbeun and Tamerlane. So, I would love a book, you know, 1664. I would love a book in Hungarian, but I've never seen one. I don't know why.
You didn't come across one?
No, nor in Polish.
Nor in Polish?
No. But this I did spend a little money on, because usually the people take the frontispiece out and sell it separately.
Yeah.
Book thieves.
Book thieves.
Yes, but it's quite a nice little copy. Oh, what is that there? Have to be very careful, you see, because there's little critters that eat. Oh, anyway. So that, I wanted to show you that. And then I'm worried about the time.
Don't worry about the time.
Now, look at this little jewel.
We're worried about your time.
No,
Thank you for that.
I have all day. 1684. I love this. How did it survive? Look, this is Puffendorf.
1684, right?
Look at it. How did it survive?
Amazing.
Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely.
You still look after them very well. That's why they still
Yes,
survive.
I get the cases made as somebody.
Even though they've travelled around the world, I believe.
Well, I watch people like a hawk. Be careful. But I think Puffendorf, apparently his history was not very accurate. But I mean, you know, look at that book. It's just wonderful. And 1684, so this is 17th century cotton here. Wow. And the catalogue description would say, sewn as issued. So,
and I believe I know as a fact that there were a few exhibitions with these antiquarians. How important were these exhibitions for you?
Very, very
And
important.
you've been in different countries, I
Yes,
believe. You
because
could mention
Albanians,
some of the countries
yes,
that you've been to.
Albanians were able to see the books of their national hero, you know. Then, look at this. This is quite rare. Printed in Stockholm, 1788. Interesting. That's just to keep it down, you know, yes.
I believe you've been in Albania, you've been in Kosovo, but what other countries have you been to? You were in
Greece,
Canada,
Greece,
so you can mention the rest of the
Germany,
countries.
Switzerland, The Hague,
The Hague as well.
yes, Toronto, Ontario, Pristina, of course, and Tirana. Not a very good exhibition in Tirana, I have to say.
Why wasn't it a very good
Well, I
exhibition
don't
in
know.
Tehran? It should have been the best.
It wasn't. The huge area there in the library, and the librarian not interested at all and fussing about another exhibition. I don't know. Just it wasn't good
Right.
at all. And enough said. Yes.
Patricia, how long was this you going to Tirana and showing the books? Do you remember how long before?
Well, I was staying with the Cadiers, so you know I was staying
When was
with
this?
them.
It's a few years back, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, I have to make sure that
I think it's 2018 you went to Albania.
something like that. Yes, but I have these wonderful friends over there. You know, I
You
stay
could
with
even
them.
mention them, no problems.
Cadiers, yes, they're
Yeah.
marvellous. So, now this one is printed in Edinburgh. And were you here when I said to Alistair, how
this
how
is the
did the
book-
Scots get to know of him?
Oh, okay.
And he said, I'm Scottish.
So this is the book with the poem about Skënderbeun.
No, it's not a poem.
Oh, it's not the poem.
1743. So I said to Stephen, maybe we could do it in the embassy, reading round, you know. Anyway, I just want,
a good idea.
I want to read you this, you see.
Sure.
So, prosperity never made him vain, nor adversity dejected. You understand this word, dejected?
Yes.
Depressed, dejected. He had learned both how to want and how to abound. He had no ambition, no avarice. That's everybody's got lots of avarice. Avarice is greed. He had no ambition, no avarice, no luxurious appetite to gratify. He sought not for power but liberty. When his affairs would permit, he kept a sumptuous, which is very grand, sumptuous table for his officers and friends, but he himself ate but once a day, and that but sparingly. Translate sparingly meant very little. He never slept more than 5 hours in the 24, probably like Mrs. Thatcher, and in times of danger would satisfy himself with 2. His soldiers were richly habited, but their king generally very plain, but upon proper occasions he would appear dressed and attended with the utmost magnificence. In a word, as a king, a soldier and a Christian, if ever there was a perfect character, it is that of Skënderbeun. How about that? Don't get much
Thank
better.
you very much, David.
Don't get
Patricia.
much better than that.
Great, great. Patricia, I'm sure a lot of other book collectors, about different historians, including here. I mean, about different figures of, you know, that like Albanian national hero Skënderbeun are interested in what you do, and they collect other books as well, but I'm sure they might be interested in what you have collected as well. Have you ever been approached about someone that wants actually to have your books, to collect your books off
No.
you, to take the books off you in a way? Obviously, you know, they would probably pay you something, but I'm not sure whether you're interested in doing that or not. But have you actually been approached by anyone?
Well, I probably just one person, and it was hopeless. I don't wish to discuss it, you know.
No, fair enough, but what I'm trying to say, you're not interested in actually
No.
passing them on to someone else or
They're
selling
going
them
back
to someone
to
else. They don't
Korea,
want.
to the museum.
They're going back to what museum?
Korea.
Okay.
That's near where Skënderbeun was born.
Yeah.
To
Yes,
Korea.
yes.
So you are happy to hand this over, like to Albania, and then go
Definitely.
to the Korea museum.
Definitely. Yes.
Great. That's a great thing to know, really. And,
yes, I'm
sure you
I'm not going to
let
sell
them know,
them.
and they're going to be very happy about it, to have these.
Yes, I think
to have this wonderful collection.
They're waiting for them to be available. But
They're waiting for them to be
I'm
available.
not dead yet.
No, we hope not for a very long time.
Well,
so,
I don't
yeah.
know. But now this is very interesting. Mr. Havard, a tragedy, you see. And so lovely. The language is just like Shakespeare. My royal master, if often in affairs of greatest moment, your heli has been trust and found true, if I have never slept till thy commands were fully executed, wherefore now this pent-up grief? It's just wonderful. So that is by Havard, and this is Lillo. You might have heard of Lillo. 1735. In those days, you see, when it says spectators, people used to subscribe to a print out. So that, you see, inscribed this, yes. 1735. First edition, yes.
So then, as you described in the beginning, then you showed an interest on this figure of history, which is the Albanian national hero, that I'm sure that made you think more about, or made you make more researches about Albania, know more about Albania. But did you actually know anything about Albania before this?
No, nobody. And a lot of people now don't know, do they, Aida?
Yeah.
They have a bad press, I'm afraid. A lot of people, a lot of Albanians, they think they traffic girls and run drugs. I mean, there's a bit of that all over Europe. It's not just Albania, but
I know. So we do hear the news every day.
Yes.
But we don't agree with the news.
Exactly.
We don't agree.
Exactly.
Not only me, but there's a lot of English, at least in my work, my students, they don't agree with news about Albania on TV or on the press. So, but the thing is, if someone hasn't been to Albania, yes, they can believe it. But people who've been to Albania, who have tasted the hospitality of Albanians, they know very well how Albanians are.
Yes.
And they never say.
You might be a witness of that.
Yes.
I
the
don't know
generosity of
if
spirit.
It's a good place, but I had a student who, she worked for Albania and all Balkans countries. And every time she was reading a newspaper, something bad about Albania, she was, I could say she was very angry.
Yes,
because she
like
said
me.
They don't know Albanians.
They don't know what they're
never
talking
been to
about.
Albania, so this is why people believe or say those things. But Patricia, thank you very much for saying this. And I'm sure you have a lot of other things to tell us about. Martin is going to actually lead you to another direction, maybe to tell us about when you've been to Albania.
You're more than welcome to ask.
This is something just, which makes me mad. Oh, and I've taken it from some book, I can't remember. Oh, I know all about the Albanians, cried a lady. They are those funny people with pink eyes and white hair. I mean, a lot of people think that now as well. And
this is not a good description because
we
are brunettes and we have beautiful black eyes.
And very handsome men, thank God. Where are the handsome? The Englishmen. Yes. Anyway, the Fran Bardi I want to show you.
Yes, you can show this to us, and then we're going to continue the conversation about the beautiful trip, your first trip to Albania.
Yes. Now this, a lot of people, you ask about the cost. This was £4. You can't say that's expensive. Nobody was interested, you see, about me. And Bernard Middleton, a very good bookbinder, now deceased, made this for me. So here we are. It's the first printed Albanian language.
Yeah, I've gone through this book actually with Patricia.
You had the opportunity to see them
and
before.
They are some beautiful phrases.
Yes.
I was so surprised to read them. The phrases in gag version. So it's gag dialect, a beautiful Albanian gag dialect.
Yes, no Tosk.
Yeah, because that time it wasn't like Toscricia wasn't decided to be as a standard language.
Yes.
This is why. Because Frank Bardi wrote this book long time ago. So, and I learned at school about
Yes.
Frank Bardi at university, but I never seen his books. This
This
was
is
the
the book.
first one.
1635,
Yes.
1635.
yes. £4, not expensive. So, and I've shown you my little Puffendorf. These are quite rare. These are early books too. Rare Skënderbeun item. I didn't write that. Here we are. Yes. Con la sua vita. It's Italian. Oh, probably.
What year was this book?
1543.
1543. Beautiful, magnificent.
1543.
Patricia, we have a question now. I think it's time you can tell us your first visit in Albania. So can you tell us your first visit in
I
Albania?
went with Regent Holidays, which was started by Neil Taylor in the 70s, I think. And we went by coach, and we arrived, stayed one night in Titograd, and we drove to Skutari.
Shkodra.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Skut-
yeah.
Yes. And the sun was shining, and there was a heron standing on the edge of the lake on one leg, very quiet, very peaceful. I thought this is what it must have been like in 1930. It was very beautiful. Yes.
So you went by coach all the way there
Yes.
from here. So
This was in a tour,
Yeah, it was in a
Regent
tour.
Holidays. Yes.
how long did it take you to reach Shkodra?
How long? No idea. Can't remember
No
that.
idea.
No.
It must have been a good few hours. I'm
Really? Oh. I've no idea. It was lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So you enjoyed
I've
the
got
trip
to-
all the way. So
yes,
you got to see
I've got to show you one more
few
book.
countries.
One more book. This is very strange, this book. And good. I bought it in Rome. I just went for a weekend. I mean, it's so strange, you can't believe it. It's conversation in the country of the dead, George Castriot, altrimenti detto Skënderbeun, with Charles the Magnificent. Here's Skënderbeun. I mean, how extraordinary. It's just over the 1800s, so it's 1832. So that's probably the last book. I have
Yes,
more, of course,
beautiful.
but this, yes, it's very strange.
So because we are here talking about Albania, you've been to Albania, can you tell us a little bit about the hospitality and the tradition of food or clothes? So what did you like the most?
Well, I liked everything the most. You know, when you know people, good friends, you know, the country is, well, I don't want to be sentimental. It's coloured by love, you see.
That's a beautiful way how to say it.
Well, it's the truth. And we went to places like Alicali. Have you been to Alicali? It's a restaurant where a horse lies down.
Yeah, that's in Divjaka, Lushnje.
Yeah, near the sea. Did you go near the sea? It's a place near the sea, this one.
Yes, and you know, we went to Durrës and Vlora, lots of places.
So which city impressed you the most?
Well, they're all different, but I'm very worried about what's going on now.
Yeah, exactly. So say a little bit about it.
I'm
because
going to say
we
a
have
lot
talked-
about it.
We have talked about it because you went to Tirana or Albania 1976, 74, something. Patricia doesn't
Yes.
like the change of Tirana, those big buildings that Grada Qela të po
Well, it's not
ndërtohen
suitable.
tani në Tiranë, sepse çdo gjë e bukur e vjetër, ato ngjyrat e ministrive kanë humb tash komplet. Sepse ju nuk mund të shikosh you can't see them now. So they've lost their beauty. Especially
Excuse me,
central
they were never
Tirana.
beautiful at all. I mean, Skënderbeun Square is lovely there.
Yes.
And also, when you go into the square and you go straight up where the Kadirs live, there's a lovely area for the elderly veterans. And there's a tree in the middle with some seats, and they sit there playing chess and cards. It's very beautiful.
Calm and beautiful.
Yes, and there's that restaurant with the fountains, very famous restaurant there, which is the other side of the park. Yes, lovely things. But these skyscrapers, they're not suitable. And tourists, you see, if only these people in Parliament, very rich with the backhanders, if only they could, I put it in my little speech, if only they could think of the future rather than always now. You know, it's so important, because once land goes under, building and tarmac never goes back. And it's a small country, you know.
Yes,
Very
Patricia,
precious.
you have written something to
Oh, I do
a
have.
message for us.
Yes, I
do.
do.
You want to read it?
Well, if you
please?
want to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yeah, we'd
You want
love
to hear?
Sure.
Yes.
Eminence Grise there, I feel he's watching over us. Okay, it's about 5 minutes, and you can delete it all, but you've got to hear it, because
course we want.
it's what I feel strongly about. I first travelled to Albania in the 70s. Later, in 1994, I went back to plant a small beech wood with Julia Gogakut and Stephen Nash. But my connection to Albania started before this date, when I bought my first book on Skënderbeun, an edition of 1596. A perfect marriage of binding and text, I've told you, which also contains a sonnet on Skënderbeun by Edmund Spenser. Thereafter, the books I collected are in Italian, German, English, French, Swedish, Spanish, Latin and Danish, all dating between 15 to 1800. As somebody who has a great fondness for the country and the people, I'd like to share a few thoughts with you. Now that Albania is making progress in your daily lives, you can begin to take an interest in your countryside, which is some of the most beautiful, unspoilt and spectacular in Europe. I mean, you know, if you go up to Thess, it's gorgeous up there.
Yes.
European.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it's gorgeous. You are a small country and therefore must be especially vigilant, you know this word, starting as you mean to go on. There should be a constant watch and awareness of new building. You have some lovely beaches. So had the eastern coast of Spain and Bulgaria. But the tourist hotels which have mushroomed there have ruined them. I mean, like Doris. I mean, I remember when I first went, the pine trees there, you see, now they've just been, and there's a lot of rubbish like we have here. It's disaster. So, of course, hotels will be built, but not with cheap materials which will not last and will not fool tourists. It's understandable that when many people need money and see ways of making it quickly, scrupulousness is not the first priority. Recently above Krijuar, it was noticed that people were chipping away at the cliffs there to get at the sand. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes. Good private enterprise, you might say, but the result will be that the cliff will eventually fall. Also, it is understood that many old walnut trees in the eastern part of Albania were sold to Italy much too cheaply. They are slow-growing trees and should be thinned with care. These are now gone. What a pity. In South America, the rainforest only covers a small area. Trees have been cut down wholesale, as there has not been sufficient government legislation to prohibit the logging. Developers may come and say, this is terribly important, may I buy 2 acres from you for a small building? If no check is made, suddenly there may be a huge building or even a leisure complex, which distorts the true landscape. Once land goes under tarmac, almost finished, it never goes back to being land again. Developers are primarily interested in profit. Bracket, most of them are only interested in profit. Old buildings in the villages and towns of Albania, north and south, have a special charm and should be preserved intact wherever possible. modernised if need be, of course, but not demolished to be replaced by characterless blocks of flats. Offices can still go on behind old walls. The geography departments in a restored villa in Tirana is equal in quality to anything in the rest of Europe. I think that's Ihsaan Toktani's villa, and I hear that's gone.
Yeah,
That's
in
gone.
Tirana.
That's gone.
It's gone, yeah. It was months ago.
Well, why? Tourists don't want to visit Albania and see buildings which are the same in Chicago or Tokyo. The important thing is to think of the future. Existing roads, there's a very good road to Kukës, isn't there? Very good. Should be upgraded, but not new ones built. Every bit of land will be needed as the population increases, even more than at present. Politicians, governments generally legislate for now rather than in 5 years' time. Albania has the chance to plan carefully and keep the special flavour of its architecture, its walls, doorways, and how hay is stacked.
Thank you, Patricia.
You've got to
Thank
start.
You very much.
Thank you for that,
Maybe
Patricia.
Aida could, both of you could have a national trust like we have here, so the buildings get listed. Because
Yeah,
otherwise it's going to
very
be
good point.
all rubbish stuff.
That's very good point, but I think something is working in Albania. If you remember, we discussed it about Girocastra. So they and Berati, because they are UNESCO is looking after them. So this is something good. So things are adding up now. Girocastra is looked after by
Not
English,
enough.
some English people, Korça as well. So they are rebuilding in very beautiful way the old things that are destroyed. So this is good thing. But Patricia, you have done so much. You these beautiful books and the way how you give a message to people about our hero. So have you ever received any award from Albanian government?
Yes.
Or the Kosovo
Well, I
one.
don't.
Or Kosovo
oh, yes.
government.
From-
Can you please tell us a little bit more about it?
No, I'm not interested in myself, but
We just need to know if you received any award. Do
Well,
you need
something.
It's good to know the appreciation from the Albanian and Kosovan
well, there's something here.
Kosovo
to...
governments.
Patricia, is this one of them? The beautiful red color? This one?
Yes, yes, it is. Look, there's these things. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. But I heard on the news that Butrint is going to be underwater with the global warming. Have you heard that? I mean, Butrint is such a precious place.
So
Aida.
the Presidential Medal of the Merits is awarded to Miss Patricia Nugee for the contributions given to the promotion of the Albanian culture and history. This is given by the President of Republic of Kosovo, Hashim Thaçi.
Yes.
And it's dated in Pristina on the 17th of October 2018.
Had a very good, look at this. I'll send them all.
Okay,
Get
this
them.
is from the National and University
Yes.
Library of Kosovo as well.
Yes.
Patricia, this one is a beautiful award.
Yes.
Was this given to you from the
Rugova.
President of Kosovo?
Yes,
Rugova?
Rugova.
But you know, in one side of this award, you've got Mother Teresa.
Yes.
And the other side, you've got the national symbol,
Yes.
which is the flag of
Yes.
Albania.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit, how did you receive this, and something that, were you emotional, or did you, what
Well,
do you think?
I always feel emotional. I don't feel I deserve all these lovely things, but, you know, these are, you know, will go back to Albania, I expect. I don't know that my relatives will. You can't display them, you see, but they'll go well in the museum in Korea. But I wanted to show you this book because I don't know anything about this lady, but it's a whole book about Skënderbeun in a poem. I mean, it's just incredible.
What language is this?
Italian. I have got it translated in a... It's very strange.
Patricia, I think Italians, they wrote a lot about Skënderbeun because at the time Albania was a Catholic country, so we were Catholics.
Yes.
And Christians
Yes,
and Orthodox.
like
not
Skënderbeun,
Muslims
he
at
was
the time,
Christian.
Yes. So he had very good relationship with Vatican and with Pope at the time.
Yes.
So not every time, but most of the time they did. They exchanged letters
Yes.
with each other, and I think those letters are somewhere in Macerato in Italy. They are saved. All these documents, the letters that Skënderbeun exchanged with the Vatican.
Well, one thing we tried, Stephen suggested, have an exhibition in the Vatican, but we didn't get anywhere. Some wretched English girl or something.
Yeah,
Shish kebab.
actually, yes, it's a good thing actually if you can have this exhibition in Vatican.
It's my new swear word. Shish kebab.
Right. It's just-
Sorry.
So I've been to Vatican and I have
Yes,
seen.
well, we should-
if you go to their shop, the souvenirs they sell, they've got Skënderbeun
Yes,
as
well,
well,
they
and
should.
they've got Mother Teresa as well. So
Well,
there
they
is a reason why they got both of them. They sell to people their pictures, their books, a lot of things.
Yes, well, we should
souvenirs
have
from
an
them.
exhibition there.
How important it is for Albania and its people. There are people like Patricia that they not only show an interest on the history of our nation, but also make it echo around the world. How important is this for us as an Albanian nation, not just the Albanians or Kosovars, but wherever the Albanians are?
It is very important in a lot of ways, but the most important way is that we can see that a lot of writers from around the world knew Skënderbeun and they wrote about him. So this is the most important, how popular he was, because we know we can add a lot of adjectives to his figure. We can say he was a strategic commander, he was a brave man, he was very loving, and the poem Patricia read says a lot of things about him, but important that someone like our friend Patricia is collecting all these books means that the interest about this figure is much bigger than we think. Because a lot of writers nowadays, they do write things about Skënderbeun, we know. And I have read some of them, and they do say they tell different stories. But these books, they tell the real story. They do tell the real story,
Yes.
what really happened at the time. How was he connected to other countries, to other leaders, how clever he was to keep Albania as a country, united country. So we know the story, what happened then and what's happening now. So this is, I think, is very important. And I thank Patricia. Thank you very much for this collection. Thank you very much for showing this to people, so that people, especially young people,
Yes.
we need more young people to see
Yes.
those books, because
Yes.
they know more about the hero, the Skënderbeun, and they can as well tell their friends, or they learn a lot about it.
I mean, Byron went there and said, beautiful, you know.
Or have you got any plans for other exhibitions around anywhere else in the world? You mentioned earlier the Vatican. I'm not sure if you've got any other
No.
plans for exhibitions around the world in the near
America.
future.
America,
America.
yes.
Right.
And
So
Mark-
that's your next
Mark
exhibition.
Cosmo is working on that. Hopefully in the autumn. We were going to go at the beginning of May, but probably in the autumn now. Fingers crossed.
Yes, Ada.
I have proposed to Patricia to go to Albania again, and I'd like to organize something in Elbasan, which is a very well-known city in Albania. They love the culture, they love the language, they love Skënderbeun, they love the books. So, and we can arrange something in Albania, in Elbasan University, which is Alexander Giovanni. So if things are going to go well, we're going to go there as well. So this is
I'd
one.
love to go to Elbasan.
Yes, yes.
And Stephen Nash mentioned Korcha, because I think Alistair King-Smith knows that area very well, Korcha, and also Shkruar. So the three centres, it would be wonderful, because
Yes.
this is the right year.
Exactly,
The
this
centenary
year, because,
year.
yeah, thank you very much for mentioning this one. Actually, this is the reason why I came to your house today, because we want to celebrate centenary, the 100 years in 100 years the connection or the relations between Albania and UK.
Yes.
So this is why we are doing this today. So we want to tell people how good our relation was then and still is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
Absolutely. Patricia, I'd like to thank you on my behalf, on behalf of the UK TV, but also our viewers for this beautiful collection, which is very important to us as an Albanian nation, and it's very important to Albanian people and to our history. It is a great job that you have done, and we thank you very much. And awards are just a part of the appreciation that we can, or the Albanian people, the governments in Albania, Kosovo, elsewhere, they can show to you. But in reality, it is something beyond what we can award you for all this collection, which is very, very important to us. And thank you for having us today here in your house and in your library here. And thank you for all the great job and for everything that you have done with this beautiful and great collection, which is a piece of history for the Albanians and for Albania.
And I'm very happy. It has brought me great happiness to have this interest. And I just want everything to be right for Albania, not all this demolition. Gets me mad.
Thank you very much for having us here today, and thank you to Ida as well for actually organizing this and for being a part of the today's program in UK TV. Të nderuar shikues, ky ishte dhe emisioni I natës së sotme në UK TV, emisioni Universal. Unë ju falenderoj që na ndoqët dhe së bashku do shihni emisionet e ardhshme. Deri atëherë, natë e mirë dhe mirupafshim.
Faleminderit.
Together
që janë gjithmonë gati. Në shi, bor, diell. Çdo ditë ata zgjohen, përgatiten, spikasin, për të arritur qëllimet e tyre, për ta bërë jetën më të mirë, për ata që i kanë në mendje çdo moment, për ata që janë atje, në vendlindje. Ne, në Ria dhe EasyPay, e dim se sa e rëndësishme është familja. Kjo është arsyeja se dërgesat me ne janë më të shpejta, të sigurta dhe të lira. Ria Money Transfer dhe EasyPay. Dërgojmë para aty ku vërtet ka rëndësi.